the bow and arrow.
Noble ones, look at this, he's back! He's back, I can't believe it, this is oh my goodness. This man is giving a purpose to my life. Let's see what he says.
The bow is basically a big spring made of wood. When it's bent back, energy is stored in the two limbs. Let go of the string, and that energy is released, shooting the arrow at more than 140 feet per second. Century. English longbow. Doug Kine knows a thing or two about this weapon.
Yay, we've got ourselves another expert. Let's see if he has the same fate as Bob, or if he's actually going to use the actual weapon that he's an expert of.
Now, what are we dealing with here?
Well, these are longbows, Gunny. They were very popular in the 1300s. In fact, this was the terror weapon. The terror weapon. The terror weapon.
Also developed a particularly nasty arrowhead.
Oh no, don't go there. Don't mention arrowheads, son. You don't want that. Just don't make me do this.
Made of hardened steel, called a bodkin tip.
Actually, a research carried out by Royal Armouries has found no hardened bodkin points. So it could be, but we can't be 100% sure.
Only purpose of a bodkin point is to penetrate armor and kill.
The only purpose of an arrow is to injure a person. It's not necessary to completely kill an opponent. Also, because consider that even the poorest foot soldier will probably have a helmet. So the chances of penetrating helmets are not that high. Bodkin did have a higher chance of penetrating, for example, low quality armor, that is for sure, but didn't really need to kill. You managed to hit the leg of a foot soldier just as good.
When the longbow first appeared, the best defense against it was chainmail.
Oh please, not again. Costume armor. There it is, your mail coif from your local LARP shop. That wouldn't withstand a kitchen knife.
This armor was highly effective at fending off the slash of a sharp sword edge, but its loose mesh may not be so good against an arrow.
Now these things, I mean, pause for a second. You see, these are those situations where, again, the perception of armor is completely wrong. Now, I'm not trying to say that mail armor would withstand a longbow arrow. Probably wouldn't, although it depends again on the distance, because with arrows and bows and also crossbows, the power of the arrow or the quarrel depends on many different aspects. For example, the trajectory of the arrow, the distance most of all changes completely, the penetrative power.
Wow! And my bow is only half as powerful as a full English longbow.
Hold on, Sunshine. You want to perform a test to understand and scale the power of an English longbow, and after giving information to the audience about the actual historical longbows, you've just stated that the bow you're using is half the strength of an actual longbow. I mean, what's the purpose of this test then? I mean, it's like me wanting to test the power of a PlayStation 4 by playing a bloody PlayStation 3.
It went through the chainmail on this side, bang, right on through, and here's what I didn't expect. I didn't expect it would come through the chainmail on the backside.
Yes, that's because our watermelon warrior actually has never in his short and miserable life worn mail armor. Another important factor is that you would not wear a mail coif alone. I would have some kind of padding underneath, which would change again completely the situation. You do not just wear a mail coif.
Hey, well, this was just too damn easy as far as I'm concerned. Being the sportsman that I am, I believe in giving the watermelon every chance that I can think of. Now I'm thinking maybe some armor in front of the chainmail, in front of the melon.
I think that's fair.
What? I can't believe it. They're back with the same cuirass. Now, is it the same they used with the katana and longsword situation? It's been resurrected. Lads, it's a miracle. Look at it. spotless, perfect, wonderful stainless steel, ready to serve. They are still using... How many did they buy? I mean, if they bought 10 of these, then why not just buying one properly made blade cuirass rather than this? Oh my goodness, this one was pierced by a blunt longsword with a rounded tip. I can't even imagine what will happen with an arrow, but let's see. Let's see.
45.
But when you start messing with these sharp little blades like this,
Bodkin points.
and is that tempered steel?
They're nasty, yes.
Question, is that tempered steel? Answer, they are nasty, yes. That's not the question. I think that we have a language barrier here with the expert. It's like asking, are you from Italy? And answering, yes, they make pizzas with tomatoes over there. I try not to be mean, let's go on.
Oh. Okay, well, let's see. We'll give it a fair chance here.
Oh my goodness, I've just imagined this. People, this is a very historically accurate situation. The average soldier wore his breastplate on his head. I mean, we know that. Never mind giving a helmet to the Melon, because the Melon, I suppose that's the head, right?
Now, a full-size longbow might have pierced this armor, but today, this Melon got lucky. Well, you know what?
That saved his life.
That did save his life, but we made a heck of a dent in it. Actually got penetration. It just didn't quite make it. The breastplate turns out to be more effective than the chainmail.
Anybody could load this. So you use a stirrups, got a stirrup on it, like that one. But anybody can pull this up. Although it could be pretty heavy. This is 62 pounds. You could get them up to 100, 120. Pulling up with your back, of course,
yes, and your
right?
leg.
And you
Yeah.
could get off a fairly decent rate of fire with it.
Well, there we go. Now I'm talking penetration here.
Do what, sorry? That knight would have slaughtered you.
Look at that.
Look at what?
Okay, so the bolt still didn't go through.
Glad you noticed finally.
But remember, for every one highly skilled longbowman, you've got a couple of dozen guys armed with a crossbow.
Which, according to your test video, would make the oncoming knight look like Hellraiser, but would not stop him and would end up all dead and slaughtered.
So the longbow was the sniper rifle of the day, but it couldn't compete with the popularity of the crossbow, which some special forces still use even today.
Oh my goodness, where do I even begin? May I just suggest one little thing? I mean, we are talking about knights, and you are shooting a knight who's probably running towards you with a lance at a distance of 5 meters. So considering the speed of an actual war horse, that probably you're going to be dead before you can even shoot the weapon. But to put things straight, first of all, they did not use actual weapons. That's quite clear, considering that these weapons did not even manage to get through 0.0005 millimeters stainless steel cuirass. But apart from that, so these don't count at all. I mean, it's like shooting a jeep with a handgun loaded with volleys or rounds and pretend you have just done a test on the actual damage and efficacy of a bazooka on a tank. So this is completely pointless. Also, they mentioned bodkin arrowhead, but why did they not mention broadhead, which were also used at the time, with their wide cutting surface that caused more serious wounds and tissue damage than the bodkin arrowhead, of course, if the opponent was not in armor. Also, they did not mention the 15th century of better armor. They did not mention the fact that by that time the arrowhead had been optimized to the type 16, which was much more effective as far as penetrating armor was concerned. And still, the most important thing that we need to say about this is that it's very unclear historically. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of different schools of thought. People who support arrows beating armor and people who support armor over arrows. As Matt Eastons, for example, has pointed out very clearly and very professionally, there aren't accounts of arrows penetrating plate armor. The only thing information we have is about arrows hitting people, for example, in the face when they were lifting up the visor and so forth. So it's a very difficult and deep topic. It's not something you can just come up with in 5 minutes, just shooting low quality armor. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video. There are a lot of things that could be said about this topic. If it's a topic you would like me to cover historically, please let me know in the comments below and I will. Also, if you haven't, make sure to watch the other video where I debunk katana versus longsword comparison, and if you haven't, I would highly recommend you to watch the video English longbows versus late medieval plate armor from Schola Gladiatoria, where Matt Eastons talks about this very topic, in which I suppose you might be very interested. Thank you very much for your time, and remember, the Metatron has spread his wings. If you haven't, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel for more content from the Metatron.